project, so hopefully you'll find this interesting and contact us here at the Senior Center to participate down the road.
We've been collaborating, our group, Travelers Dance, has been collaborating with the Senior Center for several years. We have performed dances here in the past as part of various events, but we've also collaborated with Readers Aloud and musicians and done programs in the past several years. So we're really excited to continue. And this year, we're hoping to do something a little bit different where we involve people at the Senior Center even more. So, a little bit about what the piece you're going to see today and the process. I've been collaborating with Marvin Bell since about 2001, and he was gracious enough to give me permission to sort of take apart some of his poems and add music and movement. And he said it's okay to be called our poet in residence, which is an honor for us. Anyway, I work with poetry a lot, and I always want to respect the poem and not distract from the poem. Luckily, he hasn't gotten angry with me yet, so we're going to go ahead. Anyway, the piece that you're going to see today it's going through several transformations. We originally did it for a concert at Theater B in 2002 as part of a Travelers Dance concert where we worked a lot with 5 of Marvin's poems. Then we wanted to do it again. We finally did it again, and we restaged it recently at the Coralville Center for the Performing Arts with 5 women instead of 3 women and 2 men. Now you'll see we have 3 women. So it's really exciting, and we decided we weren't going to obsess about the fact that we didn't have male partners this year because it's life, and that's the name of the poem. So the way we're going to do it is I'm going to read the poem, then we're going to do the piece as I choreographed it with our changes. And then afterwards, I'm going to point out a couple of the sections that really inspired me and the movement. And finally, I would like to invite you, well, I'll explain how I'd like you to get involved. If you're interested this summer, I'll be coming to the Senior Center on a regular basis, and we've got a wonderful project cooked up. And then we're going to show it again in October, working around everybody's schedule, including Marvin, who will be back in town then. So it's very exciting for me, and I hope you can participate. Okay, so here goes. This poem came to my attention as in a book of collected works plus new poetry called Night Works. And originally I had done a piece called Today Tibet, which is in this, in the form that Marvin has done a lot the last few years, called the Dead Men poems, where they have 2 sections. This particular poem is not in that form, but it really struck me, and other people who I've shared the poem with have just really had a strong response to it, so I hope you'll enjoy it. The title is Poem After Carlos Drummond de Andrade, and the subtitle is It's Life, Carlos. It's life that is hard. Waking, sleeping, eating, loving, working, and dying are easy. It's life that suddenly fills both ears with the sound of that symphony that forces your pulse to race and swells your heart near to bursting. It's life, not listening, that stretches your neck and opens your eyes and brings you into the worst weather of the winter to arrive once more at the house where love seemed to be in the air. And it's life, just life, that makes you breathe deeply in the air that is filled with wood smoke and the dust of the factory because you hurried, and now your lungs heave and fall with the nervous excitement of a leaf in spring breezes, though it is winter and you are swallowing the dirt of the town. It isn't death when you suffer. It isn't death when you miss each other and hurt for it. When you complain, that isn't death. When you fight with those you love, when you misunderstand, when one line in a letter or one remark in person ties one of you in knots. When the end seems near, when you think you will die, when you wish you were already dead, none of that is death. It's life, after all, that brings you a pain in the foot and a pain in the hand, a sore throat, a broken heart, a cracked back, a torn gut, a hole in your abdomen, an irritated stomach, a swollen gland, a growth, a fever, a cough, a hiccup, a sneeze, a bursting blood vessel in the temple. It's life, not nerve ends, that puts the heartache on a pedestal and worships it. It's life, and you can't escape it. It's life, and you ask for it. It's life, and you won't be consumed by passion. You won't be destroyed by self-destruction. You won't avoid it by abstinence. You won't manage it by moderation, because it's life. Life everywhere. Life at all times. And so you won't be consumed by passion. You will be consumed by life. It's life that will consume you in the end, but in the meantime, it's life that will eat you alive. But for now, it's life that calls you to the street where the wood smoke hangs and the bare hint of a whisper of your name. But before you go, too late. Life got its tentacles around you, its hooks into your heart. Suddenly you come awake as if for the first time, and you're standing in a part of the town where the air is sweet. Your face is flushed, your chest thumping, your stomach a planet, your heart a planet, your every organ a separate planet. All of it of peace, but the pieces turn separately. Oh, silent indications of the inevitable, as among the natural restraints of winter and good sense. Life blows you apart in her arms.
It's life that is hard. Waking, sleeping, eating, loving, working, and dying are easy. It's life that suddenly fills both ears. With the sound of that symphony, it forces your pulse to race, and swell your heart near to bursting. It's life, not listening, that stretches your neck and opens your eyes, and brings you into the worst weather of the winter to arrive once more in the house where love seems to be in the air. It's life that is hard. Waking, sleeping, eating, loving, working, and dying are easy. It's life that is hard. It's life that is hard. Sleeping, eating, loving, working, and dying. Sleeping, eating, loving, working, and dying are easy.
And it's life, just life, that makes you breathe deeply.
In the
In the air that is filled with wood smoke and the dust of the factory,
because
you hurry, and now your lungs heave and fall with the nervous excitement of a leaf in spring breezes.
though it is
Though it is winter and you are swallowing the dirt of the town.
It isn't
death when you suffer.
It isn't
death when you miss each other and hurt for it.
When you complain,
When you complain, that isn't death.
when you
Fight with those you love, when you misunderstand, when one line in a letter or one remark in person ties one of you in knots,
when the
when the end seems near,
when you
when you think you will die, when you wish you were already dead,
none of that
is death. A sore throat, a broken heart, a cracked back. Torn gut, a hole in your abdomen, an irritated stomach, a swollen gland, a growth. A fever, a cough, a hiccup, a sneeze, a bursting blood vessel in the temple.
It's life, not nerve ends. It puts the heartache on a pedestal and worships it. life, and you can't escape it. It's life, and you ask for it. It's life, and you won't be consumed by passion. You won't be destroyed by self-destruction. You won't be voided by abstinence. You won't manage it by moderation. Because it's life everywhere, life at all times. And so you won't be consumed by passion. You will be consumed by life. It's life that will consume in the end. But in the meantime, it's life that will keep you alive. For now, it's life that calls you to the street where the witch smoke hangs, and the bear hints to a whisper of your name. But before you go, too late. Life got its tentacles around you. It hooks into your heart. Suddenly you come awake as if for the first time. And you are standing in the part of the town where the air is sweet. Your face flushes, your chest thumping, your stomach a planet, your heart a planet, your every organ a separate planet. All of it is of peace, so the pieces turn separately. Oh, silent indications of the inevitable, as among the natural restraints of winter and good sense. Life blows you apart in your arms.
Every version of it since 2002. And Yusin just lived here, and she's doing great. Before I tell you what inspired me in the words and how I came up with the movement, I'm just curious if any of you have some impressions, things you like, things that bothered you. It's okay, you won't hurt my feelings.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because usually when a poem is entitled after such and such,
Mhm.
it is a version of a poem written by that person. So is that the case here?
Well,
I don't
you
know
know,
who Carlos Andrade is.
You know, I was researching him, and the first, years ago when I first looked him up, I thought I had read he was a journalist, but he may have been a journalist at one time, but he was a famous Brazilian poet. And he had some poems. His poems are called, and I mean, I'm no expert, but I know that in referring to his poetry, people have called it ironic and very modern, and I think he does a lot of repetition in the poems. I haven't read too many of his poems, but he does a lot of repetition, and he also, excuse me. Oh yeah, he also, he talks to a character in his poems, and I can't remember his name now. It's something really ordinary like Jose or something like that. So I think when Marvin wrote this, you know, okay, Carlos, you know, he's gonna give it back to him the way this guy has this sort of dialogue with this other person. But yeah, I don't know, I haven't, part of it was, I didn't want to know too much when I choreographed it, because the words, I mean, the poem just inspired me, but now that I'm getting deeper into it, I definitely want to know more about the inspiration. But yeah, thanks. Anything else? Okay, well, here goes. In the very, hang on a second. Really three main sections. The first section, the music that we used is people playing on clay flower pots. And you'll notice it's very repetitious, very almost monotonous, with a little bit of accents. And the first lines, it's life that's hard. Waking, sleeping, eating, loving, working, and dying are easy. And that first line really sort of was strange to me. Dying is easy. I don't think that dying is easy, but after I read the rest of the poem, then I realized, the things that really get us down are a lot of times, I don't know about anybody else, but when I'm in a crisis situation, whether it be my family or personally or whatever, it's like adrenaline kicks in and I can rise to the occasion. And people I've seen, when there's a flood or anything bad happened, really bad, people can rise to the occasion, and then what ends up sort of wearing them down is the everyday monotony sometimes. So that's kind of what I was going for there. And then we do this movement that's really, do this movement that's really simple. It's meant to be just sort of you're going along, minding your everyday business, and then there's something you're going for, and for some reason you can't get it. So there's a little bit of tension, but not a lot. And then do the easy section. Yeah. So he keeps coming back to it's easy, easy, easy. And so we use this like, settle down, it's gonna be okay, it's not a big deal. And that's where that gesture comes from. Okay, then, and I won't go through the whole poem, but yeah, they're just some beautiful images. It's life, not listening, that stretches your neck and opens your eyes and brings you into the worst weather of the winter, to arrive once more at the house where love seemed to be in the air. So, there are just a lot of images about relationships or getting caught up in life, and I don't know, it just seems really powerful. Then we drop away the music and just use the words, and you want to show them the part, and it's life, just life that makes you breathe deeply. And here we go. And it's life, just life that makes you breathe deeply in the air that is filled with wood smoke and the dust of the factory because you hurried. Okay, and you can rest. So originally we choreographed this to more music, but we thought it was in sixes, and we thought it was more powerful if we just dropped the words out, the music out completely. And we're going for this idea of sweeping or air getting caught up in, you getting caught up in the air, or just getting excited, nervous about things. Okay. Then goes in the next section when we use the tango music. To me, tango is always, it's not necessarily romantic, but more passionate, jealous, passion. I don't think of it as romantic love so much. And so if you guys would come out and, so the drama starts, right? This is the drama section, the more animal section. And just do your tango section. And I won't say anything. So here in the poem, we just have the music, the tango, and there they go. And things are going along fine, keep going. And they're doing a little weight sharing and a beautiful dip, and then whoops, she gets pushed too much. And so there's some anger, and now it's more of a competition, jealousy, that kind of thing. So you see the feet. Okay, and you don't have to do all this. Okay. So the tango section, one of my favorite lines in that section of the poem is, obviously, life brings you a pain in the foot, a pain in the hand, a sore throat, a broken heart, a cracked back. All these things are going wrong with your body. You know, they're physical, and you know, even the hiccups can be horrible if you can't get rid of them. But I love this line. It's life, not nerve ends, that puts the heartache on a pedestal and worships it. And I think, I know a lot of people who enjoy being in crisis or enjoy the drama of a broken heart almost as much as they do the calm of a happy relationship. So that meant a lot to me when I read that. So, yeah, and then we go on and we do the tango again. Now let's go to the end. Then, and I almost feel like we should play that part, but we can't fast forward, so I won't. But then there's a section after the wild tango when we're in the shape. You want to just hit that shape. I'm hanging onto them like this. And I specifically found some music that is the sound of a train coming. And when we do it in the theater, we have lights coming from the side, so it's like an oncoming train. And that oncoming train is, in a sense, life. You can't escape it. Then, another really, one of my favorite parts is, it's life that will consume you in the end, but in the meantime, it's life that will eat you alive, but for now, oh wait, I skipped the part. It's life and you can't escape it. It's life and you ask for it. It's life and you won't be consumed by passion. You won't be destroyed by self-destruction. You won't avoid it by abstinence. You won't manage it by moderation, because it's life. Life everywhere, life at all times. So you won't be consumed by passion, you'll be consumed by life. And again, for me, and I'm sure everybody has a different take on it, but for me, it's like, okay, so don't worry about it. If you're gonna not live and not enjoy what life has to offer, you know, you're gonna miss the heartache, but you're gonna miss all the good stuff too. So, then I love this. Too late, life has its tentacles around you. Its hooks into your heart. And this next section is the music is from Brian Eno and Bang on a Can, music for airports. And so it's meant to be very calming and very ethereal and very ambient. So do you mind just doing some of the movement that you do at the end? You know, just the phrase where we spin around and just do. It's just meant to, I don't know, almost like emulate the spinning world, the spinning planets, your spinning molecules, I don't know. Don't want to analyze it too much, but it just seemed to get at what he's trying to say here. He says, too late. Life got its tentacles around you, its hooks into your heart, and suddenly you come awake as for the first time. And you're standing in a part of the town where the air is sweet, your face flushed, and the rhythm here is amazing. Your face flushed, your chest thumping, your stomach a planet, your heart a planet, your every organ a separate planet. All of it a piece, though the pieces turn separately. And then, again, this is one of my favorite lines. I cry when the guy who edited this music with the words, because Marvin recorded and another dancer that worked with us, Judith Mason Lambert, who used to work here at the university. Anyway, she recorded it, and so then we had to get the recordings to go with the music, and we had to pick, you know, how much of the music to use and so on and so forth. And when we finished and we got all the music edited, it doesn't usually happen when something ends up the way you imagined it. In fact, it hardly ever does. But the recording that Mark McCusker did for this piece, yeah, I mean, it's fun, I think. Just, you don't have to watch us dance at all. You just listen to the music and with the words. It's really, anyway. So we're spinning around and these things are happening. And Oh, silent indications of the inevitable as among the natural restraints of winter in good sense, life blows you apart in her arms. That seems like a violent image, but it also seems beautiful. So anyway, that's my take on that. So, any questions about that before I get to the next section?
How much did you take the poem apart?
Well, yeah, the first section is just words, and we stopped and then inserted the clay pots music, the first 3 stanzas.
But does it go, I mean?
It goes in order.
Oh, so
It goes in order.
interrupted, it goes-
Yeah, we just interrupt it or we overlap words and so on. The only thing we actually mess with in terms of the words are, it's life that is hard. We do that whole line first. Waking, sleeping, eating, loving, working, and dying are easy. And then it goes on the next entrance, it's life that suddenly fills both ears with the sound of that singing, so on and so forth. And then the third entrance, I come in. And then, once we've all made our entrance, then that first line repeats, and then he gets it to repeat and repeat and repeat. So that's the only thing we really changed. Okay. So, questions?
How about some comments?
Yeah.
I would like to observe that your interpretation is nearly as beautiful as was the presentation. And indeed, I think we want to include it in the presentation. It was very touching and beautiful. Thank you.
Well, thank you. He's now a plant. You mean just me now talking about it? Oh. Well, you can tell I thought a lot about this. This poem has a lot of meaning to me, for me. So then, here's where you all come in. My mom recently had surgery, and I was thinking about this piece, and I was thinking about how she's gone through the death of my father and the death of a son, and she's got 2 new hips, and she has a new knee, although she's had it for a while. And she was going through some other surgery that wasn't life-threatening or anything. But she's in the hospital, and she's recuperating. And I'm thinking, you know, really, with everything she's been through, she doesn't have too many complaints, except her shoulders from her arthritis and or her cell phone service. And so then I started thinking, you know, some of the things that really wear us down day in and day out are things like our cell phone service, or, you know, things that are not earth-shaking, but really keep you from doing the things you love to do, like gardening, whatever. So what I'd like to do, Michelle said it would be okay. Originally, I was just going to interview people, you know, maybe out in the lobby or set up a table and work on a schedule. If anybody's interested, or if you know somebody else who might be interested, I'd like to talk to people and, you know, maybe get some other verbs to use as inspiration for movement for the piece. And then Michelle suggested that we actually interview some people who are interested in being interviewed, and videotape them, and we have this nice screen. When we do it again in October, it would be really great if the people who are doing video editing here could develop a short film that we could show before we do the piece, or incorporate it as part of the piece. I mean, I've had different ideas, maybe doing something with artwork, making a collage of people's impressions for, you know, 1 or 2 of the lines, or, you know, the whole poem. You know, things like the things that drive you crazy, or the hardest thing you ever lived through that you thought was gonna kill you but didn't. That kind of thing. I mean, I don't know, it's up in the air and I'm open to ideas, but for me, the people that I've shared this poem with, like I said, it has had a real powerful, people have had a powerful reaction to it. They like the poem. They can't always say, you know, they don't always take the same thing away, but I just know that people here have a lot to say. And if you're like my mom or my in-laws or other people I know, they actually are able to open up more to people who aren't their family than their family, and maybe I'm wrong, but that's how it is for me. So hopefully you'll think about it, and I'll be in touch with Michelle, and I would love to have people involved. However they want to be involved, you don't have to be. If you commit to this, you're not required to be shown on the screen. I could use your words. The words, then I would explain in October how the words inspired movement. So, enough talking. Thanks.